Good evening, welcome back to the Celtic Way. The scoreline says it all on the top of your screen. Celtic 6, Dundee 0, live full-time reaction as the Bhoys run riot and Celtic go 13 points clear at the top of the Scottish Premiership. I'm Tony Haggerty, at Haggerty10 on the X handle. I'm joined by Ryan McGinley, who's just outside Celtic Park, as you can see from his background there. He's so live from Glasgow, and he's at the Ryan McGinley on the X handle. Ryan, I'm going to have to get it out of the way, and I'm going to say it. Rip roaring, free scoring, never boring, Glasgow Celtic. That was champagne football, wasn't it?
It was, and it got better in the second half as well, which you can't say for a lot of Celtic's games this season. Usually they'll blow a team away in the first half, and then maybe you'll see the levels go down. But if anything, they got even better in the second half. That second goal just before half-time was absolutely massive from Idah.
Yeah.
Because I think it just settled the game as a whole, and then Celtic could play with that freedom in the second half. They certainly did. You had Arne Engels strutting his stuff in the second half. That's exactly what we were calling for. Pre-match, we were asking for him to go and strut his stuff and stamp his authority all over a game, and he did that, and then some. 2 goals. Probably could have and should have been more from the player. I thought he was absolutely immaculate. The same goes to the midfield. The front three were good. Everybody was good on the night. It was one of those collective performances. It was really a joy to watch from start to finish.
Yep, without a doubt, Ryan. They were each having a personal goal of the season competition. I thought certainly goal of the month, but goal of the season competition, you can argue the toss over that. But you were laughing. We were just about to come on air, and you were saying to me, "Right, talk me through the goals." It's like Engels, Idah, Maeda, Engels, Gunn. So in that order. But yeah, first goal, a penalty, Ryan. No doubt about that for you.
Well, there was doubt in the stadium because it was given the other way. It was given as a foul from Trusty, but then it was a bit of a weird one because
there was one
then
before that you probably noticed that I thought was a definite penalty, which was more of a penalty than the one that was actually awarded. So don't know if it was kind of evening it up type thing from the referee. I'm not so sure, but listen, they take it, don't they?
Absolutely, and I think everybody was pretty confident when Arne Engels stepped up to take the penalty that he was going to slot it in the back of the net. Trevor Carson goes the right way, but no keeper in the world is saving that penalty. It's absolutely perfect from Arne Engels. He's become a very, very reliable player from 12 yards out.
Did you notice about the run-up, Ryan, and no stutter this time? And if you're confident and you bang it low in the corner, the pace is on the ball. Most keepers won't save it. That's 9 goals from Arne Engels, and before there was an interview posted up before this game and he said he wanted double figures in goals and assists. I think that's 9 goals, and I think it's 9 assists as well he's got. So, listen, he's on his way to doing that, isn't he?
Not bad for a player that's supposedly not worth that price tag, apparently. He's slowly but surely strutting his stuff and showing how good a player he is. Now, he's only 21 years old. I not dread to think, I think with pleasure in my head of what the levels in which he could get to in the next 2-3 years. Yep. I've seen things tonight that I really wanted to see from Arne Engels. We've seen those lovely wee inside crosses in the middle of the park that were just breaking the lines and in turn spreading the play for Celtic and making sure that there was a bit of an overlap on the other side and making things happen. That switch of play, Matt O'Reilly was so good at that, and I think that Celtic have been missing that for large parts of this season. But you're finding a guy that's getting into the groove of things.
See, for Maedah's chip, it was the exact same pass he played on Sunday.
Yes, absolutely.
I know the Dundee player got a slight touch in it, but it couldn't stop it from going in its stated direction or its intended direction. And Maeda has produced for me a Larsson-esque chip. I cannot. The manager said he buried a Larsson-esque header at Fir Park. That for me was Henrik Larsson and his pump running onto a ball like that and just dinking it over the goalie. A terrific goal, terrific move for the goal because it actually starts from Jota in his own corner flag, and the ball's worked out. And eventually, I think Hatate and Taylor were also involved. Then Engels plays the curler round the defence splitter, and Maeda just. I'm going to say this now, Ryan. We were talking about it the other day. Move aside, Kuhn. You've got a real challenger for the Player of the Year award.
Yeah, I would
What do you think?
completely agree. The numbers don't lie with Daizen Maeda, but it's not just the numbers are actually catching up with how good he is off the ball and the pressure that he puts on opponents defensively. He's twice the player that I think he was under Ange Postecoglou. I think Brendan Rodgers, that's one of the biggest success stories. I think the two Japanese players that are still at the club have been two success stories under Brendan Rodgers because they've had to learn that different side of the game. They've become more tactically astute under Brendan Rodgers. Hatate can now last 70, 80, 90 minutes in games, which is brilliant. He was always going off after the 60th minute because he was exhausted after an hour played. That isn't the case anymore. And Daizen Maeda, I mean, it's ridiculous the level that he's playing at the moment. Every game he plays at Celtic Park, you think he's going to score, whether it's a header, whether it's chipping a goalkeeper from quite far out, whether it's a penalty. Whenever he steps up in a game, you expect him to go and score. That wasn't always the case with Daizen Maeda. It is now. Never mind cult heroes. He's becoming a bona fide full-on hero. No cult about it. Everybody knows how good Daizen Maeda is at this point.
He is a cult hero, to be fair, but I think he'd prefer it that way. You know what I mean? If you want to have a wee read, there's the instant analysis up on the site, guys. I'll post it in the comment section there. You can have a read at that at your leisure. But yeah, and we kind of came off speaking about Engels, but he's 21, Ryan. His ability's frightening. Absolutely frightening. He will be, well, what's Engels going to be like in 2 and 3 years? And Celtic might reap the benefit of that, certainly for the next couple of years. He is starting to frighten me with his ability. Always knew he had it. And I think the manager always knew he had it as well. Lots of things added up for me tonight. This is the most comfortable I've seen Engels in a long time. Maeda is just frightening, right? Just frightening. And Idah stepping up to the plate, Ryan. See that goal he scored? Made it look easy, but there's some superb technique and poise in that finish. And I'm just want to see what Jota's like when he's fully fit. Because if that's Jota at half pelt, yeah, beauty. Bring it on.
Do you know? And the thing about Jota, not everything was coming off for him, but I'm delighted that he's trying those audacious flicks. He's trying the step overs. That shows confidence. Now, he could have been a bit of a wallflower coming back to the club, but I think that goal helped him against Motherwell at the weekend. It kind of unlocked him. It broke his duck. He had the stage reset for him. I know Daizen Maeda again probably overshadowed him given his performance on the night, which is no problem because, you know, food for thought in every single position in that attacking lineup. But yeah, it was just a great performance from Jota. It was a bit of a teasing performance because you know what's to come. You know what's yet to come from Jota once he'll be fully fit. I thought he had some good moments, some mixed moments where maybe the ball ran away from a couple of slack passes, but I don't expect it to be perfect. He's had a stop-start, 18 months of a career now. But the exciting thing is we're seeing those wee shoots of recovery, early days in Jota, the second game. That's him got a goal and an assist in his opening 2 games. That's very exciting and it bodes well for the future.
You nearly said green and white shoots of recovery there, didn't you? You were tempted to say it, weren't you? Don't tell me you weren't. 655 people joining us live, guys. Thanks very much. Really appreciate it. But I think everybody's just purring and delighted at that performance. Everybody has let the transfer window go. It's gone. And that's the kind of performance I wanted to see in reaction from Celtic after the manager's preview of the game yesterday. And I loved that, Ryan. You were there. How it sounded to me as if the fans were right behind the team from the get-go.
Yep, I walked in about 10-15 minutes before kick-off, was getting videos outside the ground, etc. But I came in and there was quite a few empty spaces, but thankfully by the time kick-off arrived, I guess there was so many people coming in late, maybe coming in from work, etc. It was near enough a full house, and that really helped the game. And I think the players really fed off of that, particularly in the second half. They were all there with the team. Yes, there was some grumblings about being annoyed about the transfer window. They didn't let that affect the players, the 11 men that were on the pitch. They showed everything tonight. They showed their hard work, their work ethic under Brendan Rodgers, their willingness to play that defensive style and the counter-attacking football. You mentioned the goal from Maeda. It all starts from Jota tracking back and winning the ball. That's brilliant. That's in his second game. Yes, he did do that under Ange Postecoglou, but the attackers, the wingers are one of the first lines of defence for Celtic. And to see that, he gets his just reward for that. I was delighted to see that. Just overall, a very, very good night's work for Celtic.
That's the goal that will have pleased the manager the best.
Yep.
Because there's work ethic there, there's players involved, there's no amount of skill in the finish, and it's a brilliant football goal. It's a scintillating football goal. Go and watch it back and report back to me, and you'll realise what I'm talking about. It's brilliant from start to finish, but it's everything that's good about a Celtic team under Brendan Rodgers. That work ethic, the desire to win the ball back and then to create, even from the position that you were in, work the space. You know, he's big on that. So terrific, really, really delighted with that. Over 700 people joining us now, Ryan. So that's why the numbers keep going up and up. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. I'm sure you're like myself and Ryan, really happy about what Celtic produced tonight. Going to miss Dies and Maeda against Bayern Munich, aren't they? Dreadfully.
Yes, absolutely. For what he brings on the defensive end, but now he's Celtic's most potent attacker at the moment as well. Thankfully, Jota will have another Thankfully, Jota will have another 60, 70 minutes in the tank against Wraith Rovers. You've got to be thinking to yourself, Wraith Rovers will be dreading coming to Celtic Park at this point, knowing what is coming to them or what is awaiting them at Celtic Park. The embarrassment of riches that Celtic have in an attacking force, and that's even without them going out and signing a second striker. You've got Johnny Kenny coming onto the pitch. I know he didn't get too much of the ball, but he was getting stuck in. He was making things happen. He wanted to get the ball. He had Luke McCowan coming on, who maybe should have squared it towards the end of one of the final kicks of the game, but he wanted to do it against his former side. Paulo Bernardo coming on. You know, you've got Nicholas Kuhn, who was probably really annoyed that he wasn't starting the game. He wants to play every single game. He took it out in the best possible way by scoring arguably the goal of the game. I know there'll be a bit of argument and a bit of deliberation, but you know, see when you're deliberating over what the best goal was on the night, then you know it's been a good night of work for Celtic. Just delighted for every player tonight because I think they deserved that scoreline. I don't think it flattered Celtic at all. It could have and probably should have been more. Not
in the slightest, Ryan. Dies and Maeda got 18 goals, Kuhn's got 17, and Idah, for all the football that he's played, he's got 12. That's a healthy contribution. And Maeda is now stepping up to the plate. He's coming to the boil. And I think he's a stick-on to get 20 goals a season. 20 goals this season. Easy. He's going to get 20 goals this season. Right? And, you know, and he's had his detractors. He's had his knockers. Let's not beat around the bush there, because he has. But I, for one, had every faith and confidence that he'd be able to put the ball in the back of the net. I see a striker's instinct there, Ryan, especially in front of the post. And as I say, tonight's finish was terrific. We did a couple other nice things as well.
Yep.
But he scored the goal that relaxed everybody, and Celtic went into the second half and, you know, just relaxed and started to play a bit of scintillating stuff.
The second goal was the dagger in the contest because it killed it as a contest completely. The halftime team talks for both managers changes completely once that goal hits the back of the net. It's good play, and you know, I actually think it's quite a tame shot from Idah to begin with. I'm not knocking him or that whatsoever, but he does force the goalkeeper into making a save. Then Jota has the shot, but then Maeda is obviously still thinking about that last shot that he had, and he's like, right, I'm not gonna. There's gonna be no doubt that this is ending up in the back of the net. I like that. I like that he showed a bit of venom in his shot. That's what I wanted to see, and that's what we've seen tonight. I
actually thought he improvised well for the first shot, Ryan. Just didn't get enough purchase on it. Because the goalie made two great saves. But if you see it, he kind of flicked the boot at it and tried to get as strong a connection as possible, which forced the save from the goalkeeper. Jota's for the follow-up, another good save. But as you say, like all good strikers, he's still thinking, right, where's this ball? You know, because it's right in front of goal. And he should be there or thereabouts. And he was there. So that, for me, that striker's instinct. And also, as I say, the technique and the poise, you just crack it as hard as that and as high as that. You're not saving that. It
was a confident finish, and I like the fact that he didn't let that first chance get him down because of that shot and because of Jota's second shot. There was an opportunity for him to put it in the back of the net, and he took that chance. He was like, I'm not letting this pass twice. I'm not letting this opportunity pass me by twice. It's emphatic, and he enjoyed that celebration. It was right in front of the Green Brigade as well. He enjoyed that slide and doing his salute to the crowd. It was a great moment.
That's 4 and 3 for him, Ryan. The other kind of figures that you expect from a Celtic number 9.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you add that. You add that goal tally. You said he's on 12. You add Daiza Maeda. You add Nicholas Kuhn. You also add Arne Engels, who isn't even playing as a number 10 at the moment. He's kind of playing as a number 8. He's with Callum McGregor.
He will be soon.
Yes, yeah. It bodes really well for the future.
Yeah.
How the amount of goals that are in and around this team. In some ways, you're like, maybe they didn't need to go and sign a striker, and I don't want to go into that train of thought, because it would have been ideal for Celtic to go and sign another striker. But it puts maybe a wee bit less pressure, but less and more pressure on it, Adam Idah, because it's a vote of confidence, but also you are the number one striker. You need to go out and do it now. This is your chance. You're going to be starting most games. So, and the best way to go about it is to score goals. He scored a goal against Motherwell. He scored a goal. He scored a double against Aston Villa when he started, and now he scored another one against Dundee tonight. So he's in a great place. He'll be feeling really good about himself. I'm interested to see who starts up front on Saturday against Raith Rovers. I'm almost tempted to throw Adam Idah back in and allow him more goals, and then maybe bring on Johnny Kenny for the final half hour, because he seems to have his tail up at the moment, and that's the best possible thing for a Celtic striker. A Celtic striker with confidence is a dangerous thing for your opponents.
Especially when Jota and Maeda are around, and Kuhn.
Let's talk about that ball from Jota to Maeda for the header. It's begging to be attacked by Maeda. And there was a great moment as well. I don't know if the cameras have caught it. Maybe they'll catch it on the unique angle whenever that's out. Jota celebrates the assist as if he scored. There's two separate celebrations that are happening. Maeda, who's Maeda doesn't really celebrate goals that much. It's very much a job for him. But Jota runs to him and is jumping as if he scored a screamer from 30 yards out. That's a great attitude.
I think it was a recognition of, you did it for me on Sunday, I'm returning the favour to you. I think it was that. And right away you can see that camaraderie there. And speaking of team efforts, I'll big up John McGinley, who sent me a note, and I included it in my instant analysis. That's 31 games, home games, in all competitions at Celtic are unbeaten. That's a decent stat. So thank you for that, John. Appreciate that. So we help each other out, just like Jota and Maeda and Engels and Kuhn help each other out on the park as well. We do it as well in the Celtic way. Team effort, guys. We're all involved. But yeah, so that's what I loved about that, Ryan. That Jota's just back in the old routine. It's as if he's never been away, and it's as if he knows, if I look up here, a couple of step overs, and Maeda's timed these on to perfection. The quality's on the cross, just connect with the header, and it was so simple. And I think Maeda kind of looked up as if, what's the big fuss here? I just nodded into the net. I didn't have to do much, you know what I mean? Jota's going wild, and then the two of them kind of have that celebration in the moment, as if. And I genuinely think that would have been the crux of the conversation. Anything you can do, I can do better.
Fine by me, absolutely fine by me if the two of them are cranking up on their sort of partnership together. But I just think the team's in such a good place at the moment. There's confidence. I did tweet out last week saying, now this was after the Aston Villa game, and Yang didn't have a good performance at Villa Park. I tweeted out saying the difference that Jota is going to make to this left-hand side is going to be, it's going to be night and day, basically. And you're seeing that already. Whenever Jota's on, Tierney as well, that's something to look forward to. And Schlupp I thought he had a decent cameo when he came off.
I love Schlupp's cameo, by the way. And I thought he'd scored. I thought he's going to rasp one in, just like you saw on his kind of YouTube.
When a player comes in and you immediately know that he's been operating in the Premier League because of what he does, those balls forward, there's a ball that he plays forward that finds Maeda quite perfectly, and Maeda has the chance to put a ball into the box. You're adding a different dimension, and it'll be great to have that second option. Greg Taylor, I thought, had another good game tonight. He's been pretty solid over the past few months, but Schlupp gives you something different on that end. He gives you a bit of mobility. He is a physical monster. He is an absolute tank. He's not the tallest player I've ever seen. I thought he was a bit taller than that, but he's quite lanky, and he's got a physical side to him. I don't think he'll be pushed around too much. I think there was a couple of battles between him and Mohamed Salah that he was getting the better of his opposition player. So that was a good omen for what's to come. But yeah, pretty delighted with everybody. I thought Alistair Johnson had one of his best games in a long time. Giving him a rest at the weekend against Motherwell seems to have done him the world of good. Give him that time to recuperate and recover. Give Ralston the game time as well. You probably will see Ralston on Saturday as well. No problem with that. Expect him to come in and do a job. But I thought Johnson, he's tackling, he's attacking play, his defensive work too. I thought he was just immense tonight as well. I thought he was one of Celtic's best players in the park.
Thank you guys for joining us. That's 1,030 odd people joining us, Ryan. Amazing number, so we thank you. We know we've got your choice of alternative broadcasters doing their stuff after the game, so we appreciate you guys being here in our company. Hope you're enjoying it. Hope you've enjoyed Celtic's performance. We most certainly did. I'll go through a couple of comments, Ryan, just to everybody wants their say, don't they? First up, Francis Lester, Rip Roaring Free Scoring. I said it at the top of the programme, Francis. That's exactly what it was. Welsh Paul, Engels has proved them wrong at last. There you go. David Ferguson also on the Rip Roaring theme there, Ryan. Just lots of people enthused by tonight. Charlie Boyle, good evening, lads. A special performance tonight. I think he's talking about Celtic, Ryan. Maybe he's talking about us, I'm not sure, but we'll take it anyway. What a game. Goals are outstanding, says Charles McBreen. They most certainly were. Wombat saying Maeda was superb. On you go, Ryan.
I'll just reiterate the point again, and for maybe the people that weren't listening at the start of the show, Celtic get better as the game went on. That's not been the case for a lot of games this season. Celtic have completely torn apart their opponents, and then they've let their foot off the gas, which is understandable. But there seemed to be a wee bit of hunger tonight, as if we've got this game in hand. Let's get this done as soon as possible, and then put on a wee bit of style points. I think they also felt that Dundee have been conceding quite a few goals recently. I think they could smell blood in the water from very early on. They were like, right, we can get goals against this team, and that's what happened. You've got to beat the teams up in front of you, but if there's an opportunity to up that goal difference, then you've got to take it. That is the most professional way. It's unprofessional to take your foot off the gas.
And I think
you've got to be professional and do your job and score more goals until the game is over.
And Celtic didn't rest it for. They wanted 5, they wanted 6, they wanted 7. So that's what will please the manager most. Emmett coming in saying, nice to be here with you, lads. Keep up the great work. That's very kind, Emmett. Thank you very much. And Jeanette Solly saying, what a goal. Dyson Maida's chip goal was Henrik-esque. Said it earlier as well, Jeanette. You're on the same page as my good self. Jota looked excellent for someone who's not match fit, says Sean McCarthy. The goal he helped create from left back was excellent teamwork. Absolutely. It most certainly was. And Awuga 99 saying, Jota rusty? Hell no, he'll just get better and better. Correct.
I hope he's rusty, because if he's doing that when he's rusty, what is he going to be like when he's fully fit?
The evil genius Maeda was player of the year for him. We were touching upon that earlier. I think that's a great shout. I really do. Francis Lester back in. Goal of the season's goals from all over the park. They most certainly were. Scotland, the Braves, saying that was the best performance of the season easily. The work rate this side have is outstanding. At 6-0 up, they were closing balls down, sprinting 20 yards. Maeda's best performance he's had in the green and white. Tony Pryor saying hard to pick which goal was the best tonight. And Gary Thompson saying your 5-0 prediction. Your 5-0 prediction, bust my coot and rain, man. I think he's talking to me. Yes. Note to self, Ryan, you said 4-0, I said 5-0. We got it wrong. Delighted to get it wrong. David Ferguson coming in and saying Engels has to do it in Europe, though, Tony. I thought he played well against Aston Villa, and he had that tremendous flick that led to the equaliser for Adam Idah, which was a brilliant back heel flick. So he's getting there, David. He's producing for me.
I'd argue he's been Celtic's best player in Europe this season. Opinions.
Yeah. Peter, my mate Peter, good evening for Gibraltar, Ryan. That was fantastic to watch. 3 goals of the season in one game. He's coming over to Paradise next week, and he hopes they can repeat that against Bayern Munich. So do we all. And Stuart FC 1888 saying, if that's Jota not fully fit, then I'm quite worried for what fullbacks have to deal with when he's fully fit. Very much so. That's a kind of theme that we're on as well. And Martin Anderson, Big Tony and Ryan, do you know what's remarkable? Maeda just never looks tired. He's a brilliant player. Her little gem. A bit like ourselves, Ryan. We never look tired, do we not? We put in a lot more hours than Dyson Maeda. I'd like to think, but maybe not. That's up for debate. But yeah, I jest. But yeah, Dyson Maeda was just, I mean, he has been christened as Duracell Bunny, but he just goes on forever and ever, doesn't he? Look at his work ethic at 5-0 and 6-0, shutting people down. And it's just that's what's that vital ingredient's missing against Bayern Munich the first leg. And it will show that night. And it is pity he's suspended, but Celtic are going to have to cope without him, Ryan.
Yeah. It must be terrible for his teammates because he makes fit players look really lazy. It's a wild dynamic, but it's true. And I don't think it's a slight against these teammates at all. It's just Dyson Maeda will go and put in those hard yards and the extra yards, and then the extra yards after that for the team. Brendan Rodgers says he's one of the best in world football for that. I can't think of another player that's like that in world football. The work that he puts on in both ends of the park and the improvements that he's making at this stage of his career. At what age is he? 26, 27 years old? He's right in the prime of his career. He's athletic prime as well as his goal scoring prime, and he's shown that. I think he's the front runner for player of the season now. And if you know anything about Dyson Maeda, if Dyson Maeda's the front runner to anything, he's gonna finish that race as first. He's just that determined. He's getting his flowers, Tony, and he deserves them.
The words Dyson Maeda as a front runner just ends there. Even if he was
probably the road runner.
Even if it only Usain Bolt and the road runner would give them a run for the money. You know what I mean? And then you think it's probably a dead heat with all of them. But
it's a mixture, Tony, because he's a quick player. He is absolutely rapid, but he's got the endurance as well. He's like the mixture of a sprinter and a long distance runner as well. He can do both. It is the most incredible recovery. I mean, look at the injury that he recovered from at the end of last season. People were saying he was out for the rest of the season. Came back in a month after that. He is a complete anomaly of a football player. But that's why he's at Celtic. And yes, he's a cult hero, but I think he's also a hero amongst the Celtic support. Yeah. And I think everybody's just delighted that he's getting the flowers that his performances have merited in recent months.
He's never looked back since he grew the blonde barnet either, Ryan. No coincidence, you know. Just saying, just throwing that out there. Best performances, Natalie McMullen, arguably the best performance of the season. Yep, you could say that. And Martin Anderson, this performance tonight has given everyone involved a great boost. Now everyone has to get behind the gaffer and the team and the club in general. I agree with that, Martin. I think you're spot on with that. Brian Johnson saying, great show, guys. That's very kind, Brian. Appreciate that. Thank you. And Martin coming back in and saying that you reckon Celtic will give Bayern a game and a good show as well. So thank you very much. There's more comments. I'll just keep coming in. 1,100 people joining us. We appreciate it, guys. We really do. Try and read as many comments as we can out whilst discussing what we've just witnessed. And it puts a real smile on your face when you see Celtic doing that. It makes your job easier in terms of you rating the players, my instant analysis. You're typing away furiously and you're smiling at the same time and you're shouting, in my case, shouting at the TV screen and awe and wonderment at some of the goals and just some of the play and just watching professional footballers put on a show for you like that. That's what that, as I say, that's everything that's good about Celtic when it all clicks into place, right?
Yeah, I think in the vicinity of where I was sitting, there was an audible gasp when Maeda chipped the goalkeeper with that shot. You knew that it was in the back of the net. And then there was a sort of expectancy. There was more of an expectancy when Nicholas Kuhn scored the 6, because the moment he hit that, you knew it was going in the top corner or the far corner of Trevor Carson's net. I like to see that. I like to see that attitude from a player that's not used to being on the bench, coming off the bench and, not bumping his gums, just going out and showing why he should be starting games. What a great conundrum for Celtic and Brendan Rodgers to have at the moment, to have the likes of Nicholas Kuhn, Jota, Maeda, Idah, Engels, all scoring goals for Celtic at this moment in time. Who needs a striker?
I think Nicholas Kuhn was just saying, remember me? I mean, just like, I know a couple of months ago, I was the man. I'm still the man. I can still do these things, and
that's the thing. Now he's one of the men. He's one of the men that is getting spread out now. Engels is becoming the man at Celtic. Dyson Maeda is becoming the man at Celtic. Adam
Lots of love to go round, Ryan. It can be shared amongst everybody. It's not Jota solely. He's getting it just now because lots of affection for him, but there's lots of lovable and likable characters in this team. But Gavin Clark makes a fair point here, and I think this is true as well. The team is another level in them. I thought they're another level in them tonight as well. But the work ethic for me, as much as all of the goals were tremendous, but it was a work ethic for me, and I think that will have pleased the manager the most, Ryan. Also keeping a clean sheet and making sure that they never gave it anything silly away. And, that I think all of those behaviours, that was a vintage Brendan Rodgers Celtic team performance tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I would agree. It's arguably been one of the best performances of the season, I would say, along with Aberdeen in the semi-final at Hampden. First half of The first half of Celtic against Ross County and the Leipzig game, I think it's right up there. I think it's definitely in the top 5 for this season, but I do agree that there's more to come from this team. Once Jota's fully fit and firing, I think you'll see a marked difference, and it was pretty good tonight. Once Idah, I hope that Idah can continue this form. Hope that Engels can continue to just dominate games. Hatate can continue to make those brilliant passes. I want to see Callum McGregor coming off after 60 minutes. That's great that you can do that and bring on the likes of Bernardo and really spread out the game time amongst that midfield, because there's only 3 spots available, and you get the captain in there already. Engels will command a spot most weeks because he's Arne Engels, and that's kind of what he does in this team at the moment. And it's Rio Hatate. Between him, Luke McCown, we've also got Bernardo to bring into the mix as well. So it's all about keeping that whole midfield happy, and that's a great conundrum for Rodgers to have, because he knows that if a player comes off form, there's another 2 or 3 waiting in the wings to take that spot off them and really go with it. So it's a really good position to be in. Food for thought in most positions on the park. And yeah, 6 goals, clean sheet, 3 points, 13 points clear. Sounds like a pretty good night's work for Celtic.
Ryan, 13 ahead with 13 to play. That was a Champions Elect performance tonight for me.
Yep, I would agree with that. And Celtic are peaking at the right time here. I think they're peaking just as I think it's always the business end of the season when it's Celtic, because if you drop any points, then it's a crisis, it's a calamity. But they're peaking at the right time as we're getting into the nitty-gritty of the season, where trophies are getting handed out. I know there was a trophy handed out last year, end of last year. You've still got the Scottish Cup, still get the latter stages of the Champions League, you've still got the Premiership as well. Celtic are peaking at the right time, and that's both good for Celtic, good for Brendan Rodgers, and worrying for the rest of the pack.
It's the manager's mantra. What does he say? This is when Celtic come alive. They came alive tonight, Ryan.
I think they sent a statement tonight, Tony. I think we've not gone anywhere. We're still here, and we've got firepower, and we've got reinforcements in the back as well, if required and necessary. So yeah, I think a statement was delivered tonight in the best possible way. 6 goals, 0 goals conceded, 13 points clear. On to the next one, on to Raith Rovers on Saturday night.
I think, Paul, summing up how a lot of people are feeling right now, he needs to sleep as he's very old, but he's too excited after that performance. Great pod as always, guys, top notch. Thank you, Francis. That's really kind of you to mention that. I said Paul there, but just before I flicked up, I meant Francis. But yeah, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Ryan, I think I will let you go home, sir. We've been on for just over half an hour, but lots to enthuse about. Wonderful vintage performance by Celtic. I said it at the top of the programme. As the definition of rip-roaring, free-scoring, never boring. We move on to Raith Rovers. There's Celtic still on course for the treble. Raith Rovers in the Scottish Cup next. But bring it on, Ryan. I'm just excited to see what they produce on Saturday.
The games come thick and fast, but we wouldn't want it any other way, and especially when Celtic are getting into form like this. Bring it on. We've only got 3 days to wait until Celtic are back in action, and I'm sure the players can't wait just as much as we can't wait to watch them.
Thanks you to the over 1,100 that joined us. Trying to flick as many comments up as we can. Can't do them all. If we didn't flick your comment up tonight, we'll do it some other time. But really appreciate you joining us. I just think everybody's just buzzing about that. Celtic 6, Dundee 0, doubles from Maeda, Arne Engels, and counters from Adam Idah and Nicholas Kuhn. Roll on Saturday, Ryan.
Absolutely. Hopefully the same scoreline or better, if possible.
We'll be back tomorrow. Not sure who's on the podcast tomorrow, but we'll be back anyway. Usual time, 10 o'clock, and we'll discuss it all over again. And in the meantime, enjoy your night. I'm sure you'll be watching some of those goals on a loop and on repeat. I know I will. Take it easy. Take care. See you all soon.
Cheers, guys.